Tzu Chi volunteers continue to support flood victims in Mozambique with tableware and facial masks. Survivors recall a harrowing experience escaping an earthquake-collapsed building in Tainan 5 years ago. I'm Sean Scanlan. This is DaAi Headlines. Central Mozambique suffered from a tropical cyclone in January. So far, floodwaters have yet to recede as Tzu Chi continues to provide assistance to affected residents, giving them both tableware and epidemic prevention supplies. Let's take a look.
E porque a moça Xangai nos ensina assim ter amor incondicional e correr para as pessoas que precisam. Então, neste momento, estamos a fazer isso para nossos irmãos, crianças e vovós.
I'm putting in the maize flour to cook in the pot.
Maize flour with sugar is what's for breakfast today for the children. Wearing their brand new mask and holding their brand new plate, the children queue up in order and wait patiently for their turn.
Thank you for the set of tableware. As a family, we had only one set, so only one person can eat at a time. When they were done, we would get back in line for the next person to eat.
In the past, my children and I shared a plate, and now they each have their own plates and their own food.
After the recent tropical cyclone disaster, Tika Town's emergency shelter is home to over 2,000 people. There is a limit to how much food is provided, and the volunteers have been worried if the children are eating enough. To help, Tzu Chi has given each child their own plate, as well as helping to cook the meals. In the morning, the government brings in maize flour for the day, and Tzu Chi is supplementing the lunch and dinner meals with beans as a side dish, so the people can eat 3 meals a day.
E este arroz vai servir para toda a gente? É suficiente?
Sim, há de servir. Há de servir para toda a gente.
We are so happy and grateful for the food provided by Tzu Chi volunteers. They are even helping to cook the meal because the amount we have to cook is so much.
Continuous for 12 days, including children, there will be over 30,000 meals provided just to ease the minds and stomachs of everyone, because as soon as the flooding recedes, the rebuilding can begin.
Hainan residents in China have a tradition of eating vegetarian pot on the first day of the Lunar New Year. Tzu Chi volunteers specially purchase related items to send to 30 households. Here's more.
Even though the home is almost empty, volunteers are still happy to help with cleaning every month.
I'm very grateful for being very blessed to join Tzu Chi. As I live alone, I can also help those living alone. He has mobility issues, and since we have this good body, we should help others.
The winter gifts, which include an eco-friendly scarf, a blessing letter, and other supplies, not only warm the residents' body, but also warm their hearts.
Bless you. You have to overcome challenges, but not get defeated by them. The most difficult thing to deal with is your thoughts. It all depends on how you think about the challenge. If you think it is easy to deal with, then it should be easy to handle.
If children suffer, parents need to show empathy and support.
There are not many things, but it's the Lunar New Year. What's important is to head back and visit your family.
I'm grateful for Tzu Chi's great assistance to our family. Tzu Chi does not ask for anything in return and help us selflessly. This has touched me a lot.
Tian Cailin, a college student who suffered changes in family, spread out the care she received to other families.
When we are living well, I want to help the needy and pass on love to them in my spare time. I feel very meaningful and worthwhile after joining the activities with Tzu Chi sisters.
Concerning about the tradition of eating vegetarian pot on the first day of Lunar New Year in Hainan, Tzu Chi volunteers have prepared to send dry bean curd and vermicelli to 30 households in 4 days.
The end of the Lunar Year is especially busy for Tzu Chi volunteers, and Pingtung Tzu Chi volunteers split into teams of 5 to visit care recipients, bringing them care and warmth. Let's take a look.
Tearing down the old spring couplet, volunteers are replacing the old with new. It's nearly the Lunar New Year, and Tzu Chi volunteers help the senior to put up new spring couplets. Tzu Chi volunteers are in Pingtung's Yanpu Township, where there are 8 families with disadvantaged seniors. Many of the old homes have safety bars installed by Tzu Chi. Tzu Chi's Winter Aid events in Pingtung County is split into 5 teams, and volunteers visit each recipient with gifts. The senior citizen has long been helped by Tzu Chi financially, and this time when she received her aid, she quickly took out a bill to reciprocate her gratitude.
You help me, so I can help another. 1 coin or 2 is plenty as long as someone else is in need. Just like when we take the bus. If we are missing 1 coin, they don't let us ride.
Life is difficult for her, but with Tzu Chi's care, she too can give within her means. For families which are struggling financially, often it's hard to serve a bounty of New Year's dishes. But thankfully, Tzu Chi is here to help.
I don't make such elaborate dishes. Usually, I just make something easy.
Besides the delicious dishes, the volunteers offer words of encouragement, which brought the new immigrant mother to tears.
Thank you so much. I don't know what to say or what to express. I am just so grateful for everyone.
It is not easy to take care of a child with a disability. Thankfully, this mother is not alone here in Taiwan, as Tzu Chi volunteers often show up with their loving care.
This is for you, so when you are working at the market selling vegetables, you can have your phone on at all times. Otherwise, you often forget to take my call.
Although the daughter cannot verbally express her happiness, her facial expression is enough to know that she's excited for the Lunar New Year.
Due to the pandemic, the Tzu Chi Foundation canceled the annual reunion banquet for care recipients in Taiwan. Still, 11 staff members of the Tzu Chi Foundation drove to Hualien's Fengling to visit 9 Tzu Chi care recipients, showering them with gifts and food. Take a look at our report.
If Tzu Chi didn't care about me, I'd be alone and miserable.
It's good the staff at the Jingsa Boat and Foundation can join in showing these care recipients some love. We don't want them to be only cared for during special holidays, but continuously throughout the year.
This turnip cake is homemade by the staff at our office, and this turnip soup and brown mustard is for you.
The senior had a car accident which caused him to lose his voice and hearing. However, in our times together, I can feel that he has felt the love and care of Tzu Chi. Seeing how much the safety measures we installed have helped her, no matter if it's by the front door or inside the bath, it makes us proud.
This has been very helpful. I'm so happy to have it.
My mother takes these too. When you have finished it, call me. Tan Eggshu, a 5-year-old child, has been vegetarian since being in his mother's womb. He has continued to follow in his mother's vegetarian ways throughout his childhood. He has even developed a fine attitude to life that both his mother and other children admire. Here is more in our report. Holding a potato that is bigger than his own hand and peeling it is 5-year-old Tan Eggshu, who likes to cook with his mother. He said he wants to be a chef when he grows up. His mother used to reduce her meat intake out of health concerns and later participate in volunteer training. Was exposed to more vegetarian information. Later, she made up her mind to become a vegetarian.
Maybe at the beginning I still wanted to eat meat, but I'll feel guilty. He's a good motivation as he'll make me not want to eat food from animals.
After overcoming her appetite, she deeply realized that a vegetarian diet will not affect nutritional intake, but also be healthier. She also insisted on being vegetarian during pregnancy.
I've been a vegetarian since he was in the womb. When he starts to see these animals on the dining table, if these cute animals become food, their family can't find them. He has great empathy and knows that this is something he doesn't want.
The companionship of mother and child makes the path of vegetarianism a place of love and not loneliness. Five years ago, a strong earthquake hit Tainan, causing the Weiguan apartment complex to collapse. Huang Guangwei, who was a resident of the building back then, was very lucky to survive. Let's take a look back at his amazing story.
The search and rescue team sent a photo of Huang Guangwei, who is trapped underneath the rubble. His twin brother, Huang Guangbing, rushed to the scene and burst into tears.
It was very hard for me to gather the courage and take the first step out. I do not want to lose my family, the whole support of my life.
He is very anxious as his father, auntie, sister, and twin brother are all trapped underneath the rubble. Among the four people in their house, only Huang Guangwei and their pet dog Bagel survived. After the strong quake, Huang Guangwei was trapped on the upper bunker of their bunk bed. Thinking back, he just had a fight with her sister because of their pet dog. Never did he thought that just after a few hours, they would never meet again.
My sister took the dog and placed it on the lower bunker of my bunk bed. The dog then urinated on the bed. I was very angry, and I can only shift to the upper bunker. But I think that this is my lucky part. I was trapped from my chest till my ankle. My nose was able to touch the ceiling. I slowly moved my position. I was in despair. I was praying very hard, and I felt that I received many replies. It doesn't matter if I knock for 1,000 times or 10,000 times, but it was scary. It felt like we're just divided by a wall.
The shouts from the rescue workers are the sound of hope, so near yet so far. As for the collapsed building, everything seems so fragile.
When I was almost completely rescued, I kept on crying. The rescue member told me that I should endure a little more and it won't feel that painful anymore. But actually, I was crying not because I was in pain, but I was touched. If I had given up, it would be the end of my story. So whenever I touch Bagel, I will not feel sad. It is actually a link for this particular memory. It reminds me that I should not give up easily in life.
From blaming the disaster to learning how to be grateful, Huang Guangwei has let go of the pain of losing his family members and accompanied Bagel throughout his growing process. He also started to become a social worker, helping others rebuild their families with his own experiences. As for the Xie family, there were a dense amount of natural gas in their house. It was almost impossible to rescue the family.
When the building collapsed, the natural gas leaked. Therefore, the rescue team could not use heavy machinery to start digging. When they were almost done digging out my mother, when they were able to lift her out, I saw my daughter lying there. When they dug them out, I lost control of myself. I thought to myself, why should I continue living? What's the purpose of my life? There are many aftershocks everyone needed to evacuate. I didn't want to leave, because I thought of leaving with my family.
The earthquake has took his mother and daughter from him as he was left hopeless. 200 days later, Xie Jiewen rescued a cat in the night market to bring good fortune, but instead, he needed to pay even more money.
I heard the cries of a cat. If we send it for a surgery, there's only a 3% chance that it will survive. So should I rescue it or not? I gave it a long shot and said that I will try to save it. I'll save all the stray dogs and cats in Taiwan.
He felt that these small animals had the strong wills to live. His life started to turn back to normal slowly as more and more love was being accumulated.
I started from the things that I'm able to carry out myself, which is to head out to rescue. The only challenge was to raise funds for their food. I then turned all my attention onto these animals, and it's because of them that I'm able to get out of the past.
When we save the animals, we help them and gave them a new life. They'll then feel that they're actually valuable. With pets accompanying these people, they can have emotional support. They're able to communicate with their pets and form a strong bond. To take care of their pets, the life of these people will become stable, and they will also have a sense of responsibility.
Before her passing, Mrs. Xie actually requested her 3 sons to head out and build their own families, and they do not need to head back to their house in Weiguan. However, now that home is gone forever.
This car is left by my mom. It's a remembrance. As for the lives of the 3 of us, it's thanks to my mother she saved us.
For survivors, there's always a mission. As for the rescue missions, it's being done selflessly by him. Besides healing the heart, it is also making dreams come true.
May is the month to honor Buddha's Day, Mother's Day, and Tzu Chi Day amongst the Tzu Chi family. In addition to praying that there will be no disaster in the world in the upcoming year, Tzu Chi also continues to carry out relief distributions around the world. In our following report, we'll continue looking back at Tzu Chi's major events in May and June 2020.
In May 2020, a Buddha Day ceremony was held at Tzu Chi's headquarters to honor Buddha Day, Mother's Day, and Tzu Chi Day. The ceremony was also held in many countries, including Myanmar, the Philippines, and Haiti. In Myanmar, donating rice is a common practice. In Malaysia, local business people came together to fundraise for the needy impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We all know that there are many people who are doing so much worse than us and is deserving of all our help.
Feeling for the stateless people living in a seaborne lifestyle off Sabah, Malaysia, local Tzu Chi volunteers brought them supplies by boat.
其实那个船真的很窄小啊，他们连生活的地方都没有啊。
Also affected by the pandemic, these sea gypsies were in need of help more than ever.
Melalui itu bantuan kami itu Yayasan Tzu Chi.
What can we do to prepare for death? One Tzu Chi volunteer used her own personal experience with failing health to instruct and serve as a model for others. Today we take a look at Yi Bi-ying, who is finally comfortable in the fact that she has taken every precaution when it comes to her final farewell. When Yi Bi-ying was a volunteer at Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, she often cared for patients of Dr. Chang Yo-kang from the Department of Radiation Oncology. She used her own story to help doctors promote Patient Autonomy Act. She recalled that her father was hospitalized because of a fall and spent the next 6 years in bed. This experience made a deep impression upon her and led her to think of her own life and the decisions that she could make.
医生就说要气切，好。
The doctor said that I need to do a tracheotomy for him. I said I'm his daughter and I can't make the decision. Please ask my son and the aunt. They agreed to do a tracheotomy, so that's it. He couldn't talk then, so I bought him a whiteboard and he wrote, "Why did they do tracheotomy?"
为什么要切？
At that time, there's no law governing patients' autonomy. Yi Being's family followed the traditional idea that everything should be decided by the son. Later, Yi Being had surgery for a kidney stone. She thought it was a simple operation, but she did not expect to almost perish because of the operation.
护理师说：“阿嬷，我来教你安怎喘气。”
The nurse said, "Grandma, I'll teach you how to breathe." I looked at her and I thought that breathing should be a natural thing. Why should you teach me? A nurse told me that my breathing was assisted by a machine and I wasn't breathing on my own. She told me that I have to breathe on my own to wean myself off to this machine. At that time, I was really scared.
不是你自主呼吸，你要能自主呼吸，你才能脱离这一台机器。那个时候我就真的吓到了。
Yi Being didn't want to follow her father's footsteps and tried to learn to breathe on her own. She finally got off the respirator and covered her health. Once when she was volunteering, she saw a mother who was about to die, which had a lasting impression on her.
儿子他因为工作关系到大陆去了，媳妇又不敢决定。
Her son was working in China and her daughter-in-law didn't dare to make this decision. The daughter said she might save her, but I knew as soon as the machine started, it would be terrible to save the patient. I asked the daughter that your mother is already like this. Why do you want to save her? But she said that God, I believe, said that my mother can't die today.
These experiences near the Valley of Death made Yi Being understand that the good farewell will never manifest itself from thin air. When Chang Yo-kang told her that she had to decide her own affairs, that she could not leave the problem to her family, she decided to sign an advance decision form. Dr. Chang also especially reminded her that it's important to communicate with her family.
本人的善终要保障，
People need to protect their farewell, and we also need to protect the lives of family members. When the one really leave, one's family members will be able to survive. We don't want to have a split of opinion. We need to just talk about opposing views and avoid a situation where a loved one can become an enemy.
这种情况，
死不可怕，可怕的是在拖。那
It's not terrible to die. The terrible thing is procrastinating. If you sign this under the professional judgment of the doctor, this disease will continue to be treated, and this could just be procrastinating with no possibility of recovery. I think the whole family is very supportive of the advanced decision.
Yi Being, who has made a decision regarding the last mile of her life, is still busy volunteering, and she has more time to spend with her children and grandchildren. Now she is feeling quite calm and comfortable and is living without worry or concern. Due to the pandemic, Sri Lankan Tzu Chi volunteers held a small but solemn year-end blessing ceremony that drew participants, such as team of doctors and teachers from a Tzu Chi school. We leave you with these images. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.